What's good, YouTube? Hey, today, as you see, we got a different video again for y'all today. We got real prison escapes caught on the camera. Hey, if y'all, hey, I haven't been behind the walls and I don't want to. I like my freedom, but hey, we some my friends at work and everyone is saying I should put more of these on the channel or switch up it. So we're gonna switch it up. Shout out to the fugitive for this video. Make sure I'll link his full video about this in the description down below. Without further ado, let's get into this video.
You need to be quick, and above all,
I know El Chapo got to be on here. I know he had escaped prison like twice. I know that for sure, but I don't know who else will be on here. But let's get into it.
you need an unstoppable thirst for freedom. The top 10 prison escapees on my list today had those three things, and luckily their escape act was caught on camera. Number 10, The Opportunist.
Wow, y'all being fired. Like y'all just left the gate open. Y'all was like, no one's going, and he skedaddled. He got out of there, skedaddling.
Sometimes breaking out of prison doesn't need weeks and weeks of planning. Sometimes the opportunity presents itself right in front of you, and you just gotta go for it. This is what happened for Mike Maldonado at Porter County Jail. Mike was being transferred to the jail, and the car was parked at the sally port of the jail, which is where they bring the prisoners in. The police officer leaves the car and goes over to another officer to discuss the transfer. But the gate hasn't shut. There seems to be an electric gate,
and he saw that and he skedaddled on y'all.
And it still hasn't quite gone down yet. Mike jumps straight out of the car and runs under the gate while it's closing. The garage door finishes closing before the police could get him, so this bought him some extra time too. They looked for him for 2 hours but couldn't find him. Later on,
of course he wouldn't. Y'all think he was gonna be there after and wait for it? Oh, I'm gonna wait until they gonna find me. Oh, I'm gonna wait. No, he gonna keep skedaddling. Like I know if I'm locked up and I'm like, bro, I get out, I'm skedaddling too, bro. You gotta find me.
There was a report of a stolen vehicle. This vehicle was linked to Maldonado, and he was found a day later. Number 9, the uncuffable lady.
Captured by a camera in the holding cell. Gonzalez is seen going back and forth between the phone and the cuffs while seated at a table. After less than 60 seconds of work, she's free of the police.
The next escape is a lady who performs a simple Houdini trick. In Wisconsin, 30-year-old Amber Gonzalez was arrested for theft and possession of drug paraphernalia. They took her to a holding cell and handcuffed her to a wall. She was left on her own and decided to make a break for it. The CCTV footage shows her wriggling free from the handcuffs. At the same time, she's trying to plan the escape on her phone. She wriggles and wriggles until she eventually breaks free. Police later
Wow, she wiggled out her handcuffs. That's crazy.
told ABC that these handcuffs were set to the tightest setting possible. Once she got out of the holding cell, she went outside through an emergency exit. She then traveled through people's yards until she met up with a truck driver at a nearby gas station. But this woman isn't as clever as you think. Once she and the truck driver got on the road, they decided to head back to the same hotel at which she was arrested.
What? Oh. Wow, yeah, he deserves it. You go back to the place that you previously was got at.
Staff noticed her straight away. She was rearrested an hour later. It's safe to say that she probably wasn't left on her own the next time. Number 8, the window slider.
We got an ad coming. Wow, he jumped through the... That's great. He's skedaddling. He's skedaddling on y'all.
In Garland County, 34-year-old Derek Estelle looks to be on the phone, perhaps talking to some loved ones. In reality, he's biding his time to make an escape. This wasn't a solo job either. He had conspired with other prisoners to distract other officers. Once the officers were on the other side of the room, he jumped across a counter and through a window. You can then see the footage of him squeezing out, followed by another officer
That's so crazy. He squeezed through the window.
And through a window. You can then see the footage of him squeezing out, followed by another officer squeezing out after him. Other footage captures him outside, making a run for it. Apparently, a car was waiting for him, which would be his ticket to freedom. They drove away despite officers trying to stop the car from pulling away, but the fact that the cops knew what the car looked like was a massive blow. Police found the car abandoned later on. Estelle was caught 3 weeks later and was living in an abandoned home with his girlfriend. His girlfriend is believed to be the driver of the vehicle he jumped into at the prison. Estelle's mother and stepfather were also charged with assisting the escape. Some mothers will do anything for their kids. Number 7. Solid Snake.
Screen. We can see 3 inmates slowly moving from the middle cell, making their way to the corner cell, and then quickly climbing up to the ventilation system. They do this slowly. This is video from one of more than 30 cameras inside the jail. Lincoln
Their camera to get better.
County identified the escapees as Brian Moody, Sonny Baker, and
That shit blurry as hell.
Mark Robbins.
Any retro gamers watching will recall Solid Snake sneaking through the air ventilation systems, and this is exactly how these prisoners got out. This is what we can see on this CCTV footage at Lincoln County. 3 inmates walked over to the corner and quickly climbed into the ventilation system. But they weren't just climbing in and hoping for the best. They had done it many times before. They were essentially climbing in through this ventilation system and going into the kitchen. This way, they could pop in and get a snack whenever they wanted to. Eventually, they found out how to break out of the kitchen. Then they decided on their plan to escape. Of the 4 inmates, 3 were captured within 3 days. On the 4th day, the final convict was captured and put back. But the most shocking aspect of it all is that this wasn't their first escape attempt. 2 of the convicts had escaped 3 months later and through the exact same route. Let's just say this prison.
Wow. Oklahoma. I need a picture of prison. They escaped through the same way, through the vents again. Picture.
Prison doesn't easily learn its lessons. Number 6. The Bulldozer.
What is that? What the hell is that?
Our next escape happened in Copenhagen, Denmark. Instead of climbing through the walls or escaping through fancy tunnels, the prisoners just got one of their buddies to crash into the wall with a bulldozer and hope for the best. This bulldozer...
Wow. He just said, forget another plane. I'm just gonna have you just run through the prison. Hey, that's effective. Broke everything.
Footage can be seen of the bulldozer simply smashing into the wall with several prisoners making a break for it. There was also believed to be a football match on at the time. Were they desperate to see the football game? Or were they desperate to blend into a massive crowd? It's difficult to tell. But this footage did not come from CCTV cameras. It came from a cameraman on the outside. This was in 1995 and long before camera phones. This is why it's rumored that this cameraman was in on the escape, or else he was just in the right place at the right time. One of the escapees is Brian Bo Larsen, who is every Danish prison guard's worst nightmare. He escaped prison again in 2004.
He has 22 prison escapes. Y'all better put him in a supermax, bro. He has 22 of them bitches. Yeah, Denmark prisons have been said to be the easiest to escape from. Cutting through his bars and hiding in trash can containers. During his last escape, he was caught after a crash, a stolen vehicle. Police found him on drugs with a hooker.
Or by hiding in a container of leaves which was transported out of the prison. In 2014, he used a hacksaw to saw the bars of his cell off and used rope ladders to climb up to the roof and back down on the other side. He's one of the world's most notorious prison escapees, but maybe not the most famous on this list, as we'll see later. Number 5. The Vloggers.
Mastermind of the escape lifts up a sawed-off bunk bed. Underneath, there's a metal screen which has already been cut open. He disappears into the vent, crawling through plumbing pipes inside the jail walls. Then, a man who would soon find himself on America's Most Wanted list, stopping to give the camera a thumbs up.
You really have to admire the balls on these guys. While most of the footage of prison escapes come from CCTV footage, these escapees decided to record themselves breaking out. Inmates in Orange County had smuggled a cell phone into the building. In this video, we see them shimmying through a vent and climbing through the plumbing of the building. One of the escapees gives a thumbs up before he escapes into the vent. Once they are through the vents, one of them takes a selfie. They eventually reach the roof of the building, where they climb out. These guys were on the run for a week. They started filming the crib they were staying at.
They were on a run for a week and started filming where they were staying at. That's crazy.
One of them starts smoking a marijuana pipe, while the other is holding a bottle of Jack Daniels. The sweet taste of freedom only lasted a week though, until they were caught and put behind prison bars once again. Number 4. The Smooth Talkers.
Running her hands through her hair and looking totally
They smooth talking the snow bunny.
stressed out, rethinking her life choices. The following day, she's arrested, and the 3 guys on the run are apprehended 5 days later after a tense siege with
They got the snow bunny.
police. Stick to what you're good at, guys. Breaking hearts, not breaking out of jail.
A camera in the alley outside captured the men dressed in all white, casually walking.
Rather than carrying out some Houdini-like stunt to escape, these prisoners used their own charm and charisma to break free. In Texas, a female prison guard was sweet-talked into assisting with a prison break by 3 prisoners. She essentially did all the work for them. She shut off the alarms, unlocked the doors, and gave a false prisoner head count. This gave them an 11-minute head start. The prisoners seem to have gotten hold of other clothes, as they can be seen all wearing white and simply opening the gate and strolling out of the prison. Meanwhile, the prison guard can be seen running her hands through her hair and stressing about the situation. The prison guard was arrested a day later. The silver-tongued devils were found after
9 years.
the situation. The prison guard
9 years.
was arrested a day later. The silver-tongued devils were found after 5 days. No prison officers have been wooed by their...
Stop. Before you do any holiday shopping this year, you really have to see this. I'm going to show you one simple trick that'll save you a lot of money when you're shopping online. In fact, I was able to save $350 this.
The craziest prison escape on this list definitely comes from a Brazilian drug dealer named Clauvino da Silva. Da Silva's plan was as follows: get my daughter to visit me in my cell, dress up as my daughter, and leave pretending to be my daughter. The small
Wow. That's crazy. So you gonna leave your daughter in the prison so you can be free? It's crazy.
whole matter of his daughter being still left in the prison cell wasn't of that much concern to him. So he put on a black wig, glasses, bra, and a t-shirt. He also put on a silicone mask. Da Silva was also nicknamed Shorty, so he was roughly the same height as his daughter. But the guards caught hold of this. In this footage, we can see them removing the glasses and the wig. The jig was up. His career as a potential drag queen was up too. Police questioned whether his daughter was in on the escape too. There were also another 8 people involved. It suggested that the wig, mask, bra, and t-shirt were all gradually snuck into his cell. Had he pulled this off, the guards at the station would need to get their eyes tested straight away. This attempt was crazy, but unsuccessful, so it didn't make the top of the list. Let's see what came in at number 2. Number 2. The Skinny Man.
Number 1 gotta be out of trouble. He gotta be out of trouble. No. He stripped his entire clothes down to butterball ass naked and went through the whole.
Coming in at number 2 is a stunt which would make the great Harry Houdini very proud. Rustam Starudinov, 25, was put in prison for theft and burglary. It's quite clear that this guy would be extremely good at burglarizing, as he can squeeze himself into almost any space. He made this escape by stripping naked and escaping through the food hatch. Once he broke free, he reached back in to take some clothes for himself. Then he got changed and made a dash for freedom. This activity was clearly visible on CCTV. Clearly, none of the guards were looking at the time, as the footage of what looks like a door giving birth.
When does the guards be looking? Like I be thinking, when I be going to work, I be driving past prison, and I don't be seeing people in them towers. Like when I be driving, I be looking, I be like, bro, Where are all these guards supposed to be in here? I'm guessing they're not supposed to be in there like all the time. I don't know. But yeah.
Birth to a fully grown man surely would have caught their eye. This didn't happen in the dead of night either. It was 4 p.m. Sharudinov is from the Republic of Dagestan, which is in Russia. It's difficult to find any information of him ever being caught, so he might still be out there on the loose. Don't be surprised if you see this guy sneaking in through your letterbox. Number 1. El Chapo.
See, I knew it. I knew it.
They're escaping.
This one I knew because that it was on like a documentary, and it was on the news, bro. I saw on the news, so I don't know if anybody else seen it, but yeah, this happened around 2015. Around that time, I was like 14 in high school, freshman year of high school.
Recent history. At one point, he appears to be.
I remember it because we talked about it in like history, which is different, but yeah, we talked about a lot of things in history that I was confused about, but
Forward, focusing on something in the floor of the shower. Then, he sits down, appearing to remove his sandals. And then, he vanishes.
At number 1, we have to pay homage to one of the greatest prison escape artists ever, El Chapo. In this footage, you can see him walking up and down his cell until suddenly he drops into the tunnel. His real name is Joaquin Guzman, and he's one of the world's most notorious criminals. To escape, he had built a secret underground tunnel beneath the shower, but El Chapo holds a bit of leeway with the guards. He wasn't slowly chipping away like Andy Dufresne in The Shawshank Redemption. There was loud hammering, but the guards outside decided to ignore this noise.
Yeah, better.
In the footage, you can see him pacing back and forth, waiting for the right moment. Before he exits, you can see a mobile phone on his desk, which had been smuggled in to organize the escape. When escaping, he turned the volume up on the television by his bed to drown out any sound. This tunnel went underground for a mile until it reached a nearby property, coincidentally and conveniently owned by El Chapo's wife. But the real work was done inside the tunnel. His drug cartel was used to build tunnels between the US and Mexican border to smuggle drugs. They simply built another extensive tunnel system to help free their leader. It had lighting, ventilation, and even a rail system. The rail had an adapted motorcycle on it which was used to transport tools for the dig. El Chapo's breakout
That's different. They wanted that, man.
was in 2014, and he enjoyed 2 years of freedom until he was eventually caught again. He is now held in an infamous American prison, which I've covered in great deal on the Fugitive channel. You can check it out for yourself.